Hi. Hi guys. So just a quick upload here. This sort of got me thinking. A question that somebody's asked has got me thinking about a girl who I used to know in Eckington where I lived, and it brought me thinking that doesn't the world sort of misjudge people and sort of get it wrong and you know I don't know. I'll tell you the story, see what you think. Um, I used to hang around with a girl called Nikki, and she was kind of the girl who, I'd say, your parents really wouldn't kind of want your daughter hanging around with her, really. Only, didn't nobody got, they didn't get to know her before they thought this, which is sad, I guess, isn't it? And I mean, looking back now as somebody older, where I am able to look at everybody's opinions and both sides of the argument and stuff, I can see why. Don't agree with it, but I can sort of see why. I mean, she was kind of she came from sort of a broken home. She was sort of left to her own devices. She used to sort of drink a lot. She got a reputation for sort of sleeping with men, lads and stuff, quite easily. She sort of smoked a bit of weed. Like I said, she drank, and yeah, she sort of didn't have no, because she didn't have her parents was split up. She and her mum used to go and stay with her boyfriend quite often. So she got the house to herself. So she didn't really have any structure. She didn't have to be in a set time, and there was no sort of discipline, if you know what I mean. And she had an older sister who sort of also lived like that. So the only sort of role model she kind of had really, what was this sister. Um, I mean, if you looked at it now, it's really it's not a rebellion. It's groomed. She was sort of craving a father figure, which obviously could only be found in older guys. Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. And it just got me thinking. I mean, obviously Eckington, I've told you about Eckington, very small-minded people, and so her antics gave her the nickname sort of Mucky Nikki, and I sort of ended up with the infamous Sticky Vicky, because I hung around with her and kind of started behaving a little bit like her, I guess, I'm not going to lie. But I'd love to know, sort of, I do like a bit of a gamble now and again, a little bit of a flutter. And I wonder how many people sort of, what were the odds on me and her? So you've got person one, who's going to turn out to be the raging drug addict, fucked up life, and which one of those two girls is going to sort of grow out of this rebellious? I mean, come on, let's look at the evidence. Option one, we've got Nikki. Comes from a broken home. Father doesn't have anything to do with her. Mother goes off quite a lot. She's around different men all the time. She drinks. She was behaving like this before. Vicky and Nikki started hanging around together. Used drugs. Has had a little bit of heroin, issue with heroin, and then we've got option two, which is Victoria. Victoria comes from a beautiful home, steady family, both parents constantly around, well loved, well groomed, has started smoking a little bit of weed and rebelling a little bit, had a little flutter with heroin again, but didn't behave like this before she met Nikki. Who do you think they picked? Well, they were wrong. It was me who had the brilliant upbringing that people seem to think, which I did. And look how I've turned out. She didn't last. She got off heroin and stopped taking it very, very quickly. She was very, very sensible. She got out of it straight away, where I carried on. And I don't know where she is now. I believe she's still in Eckington. I believe she's a parent, and she probably is a very good parent as well, to be honest with you. A very, very, very good one. But that just goes to show you, for everybody out there who actually thinks that you can sort of you know, look at people when they're young and say, oh, they're going to turn out like this because of X, Y, and Z. You know, the parents don't care about them, so they're going to go on to have kids, and then they're going to get took into care. It's, you know, you can't, you know. I mean, you know the word of that, you know, the way I sort of think is you know, you're on drugs because you want to be, and although some, you know, I understand people do say take things to block things out. I get that, but more time, 9 times out of 10, I believe when you start taking drugs, that probably is why you're taking drugs. You know, to block something out, to deal, you know, to help deal with something that you've not dealt with, or that, you know, there's definitely a hidden agenda. But I do, but you then go to get off drugs, and say you go back onto them years later, months later, whatever. You're doing that because you want to. You know, you can't. You know, everyone's like, you don't need a piece of paper to tell you you're academically clever to need to know the answer to the question I'm going to say now. I mean, what makes them people believe, and myself included, that I'm any cleverer than I was, you know, my addiction before? You know, it's the strongest painkiller known to mankind. It's the brain. It even fools the brain. You know, it's your brain that gets addicted to it. So, I mean, I can't outsmart a brain. So why do we keep going back to it? Why are we prolifically keep going back to it as drug users and as drug addicts? You know, one to think about, guys. But yeah, just wanted to mention Nikki. So when I do my first video later and I mention her, you're going to know a little bit of a background. Cool.